I want interns to be emotionally and spiritually prepared for when they go through hard times in future ministry assignments. Nothing brings more joy and contentment to life than following God's path for your life, wherever it leads. But I want our interns to understand they'll probably have hard times too. And it breaks my heart when I hear about pastors abandoning their ministry call, or having a spiritual or moral breakdown, or what's the saddest of all, committing suicide. And in 5.5 years of ministry, even with all the crises in my life, physical limitations, I've never once considered leaving ministry. And I've also turned down multiple ministry job offers with big churches or big Christian nonprofits with decent salaries and benefits, because I heard God call me here, and because people close to me kept affirming that call in my life. I'm still in ministry today because God used hundreds of people, whether in person, through godly counselors, professors, and pastors, or through books, to pour into me, shape me, influence our church's ministry and budget decisions, and give me the stamina to persevere down that path God called me. I might have quit too if I hadn't received so much help and encouragement from others. So now my act of worship is to encourage and pour into other future ministers in the best ways I know how, which is obviously going to be limited. I'm only 33 and only have not yet 6 years of experience. But I want to help them in the best ways I know how and introduce them to all that has transformed me. Most of our summer interns believe God has called them to a life of vocational ministry, meaning their main job will be serving God's church in some sort of ministry setting. So as I meet with interns and challenge them to read all the books I've assigned, I want them to constantly ask themselves, what will I do when, and it's not if, but when, God calls me somewhere that's incredibly difficult? Will I quit? Will I start sending out my resume to bigger churches and organizations that look better, easier, or higher paying? Or will I just completely throw in the towel and say, this is too hard, I'm taking some 9-to-5 office job with good benefits? Interns spend a lot of time helping run Camp Fuse, our summer day camp and feeding program. But we successfully ran that for 3 summers without any interns. Renovation Community doesn't need interns to run our day camp. Interns aren't here to do the work we already know how to do ourselves. They're here to learn and to grow. When interns finish their 10 weeks with us, I want them leaving with greater clarity on their calling and leave with a broader missionary mindset of how to practice ministry. Just in the first week, we spend over $1,000 in training them. I'm confident interns will leave here with a few ministry tools or perspectives that they'll use for the rest of their life. And they'll leave here with a wealth of knowledge they can apply in any classroom or church or mission field. But most of all, I want them to leave with a new spiritual fortitude to persevere through whatever trials they may face, and to expect they will face them. I can't speak for any pastor other than myself, but part of my darkness that first year of ministry was in feeling blindsided by the trials I was facing. And any trial will feel 100 times worse when you never expected you would have to endure it. I remind our interns, only fools undergo trials and tests God hasn't called them to endure. We face many trials just due to our own stupidity. But I want our interns to learn God will call us to undergo trials. sometimes, at some point, Jesus will say, let's go to the other side of the lake. And before you get to that other side, you'll have to go through a storm. But the peace you're searching for during the storm won't come by turning around that boat. The book of James says, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him. When the rain is pelting your face and you're seasick from the waves, peace comes when you look down and you see that Jesus is still asleep in the boat. And if Jesus is in the boat with you, He's planning for you to survive this storm. So don't worry about the storm or turn around. Just fix your eyes on Jesus. Either He'll calm your storms or He'll make them grow strangely dim, like the hymn says. But regardless, there's no other place that's better than being right next to Jesus. He brings more peace than anything this world has to offer. And He'll lead you on the greatest adventures you could possibly imagine. His word shall not fail you, He promised. Believe Him and all will be well. Then go to a world that is dying, His perfect salvation to tell.